Welcome back. My name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today, I kind of want to just talk about some dogs in a way that I don't ever hear anybody talk about. And hopefully, when I speak about it, I'll find some people that are talking about the same stuff that I'm talking about right now. That's the concept of, I was always under the belief that these dogs are just living in the moment, that they don't understand the past and they don't understand the future. But in reality, when I really just sit down and think and ponder and just watch the dogs and they doing their little dreaming looking stuff, they definitely remember the past. They may not remember it the way that we do, where we're just thinking about it all day. But there's some stuff that's, say, even like us as humans, stuff that happens in our past that's just it's like in us, where you can hear a sound and it like brings you back there. You're not thinking about it all day, but something happens that it brings you into that, and it brings that, like, depending on what it is, either a good thing or say a bad thing, a tragedy. It puts you back in. The worst case of it is, of course, we rarely hear something that we're like, "Yeah, everything is great." It's usually something traumatic that you hear something and it puts you right back in that like same sense. You're not thinking about what you used to be in, but somehow your body is just like responding. And it's not for you to just will your way out of or think your way out of it. Your body is responding to something that's going on that happened to you before. And it's interesting to me to really think about that concept when I think about these dogs. Because how is it that, you can, like me, for instance, I've had my Johnny Man, and I'm going to straight up say that I wasn't the best to him just doing normal stuff that I used to do with the dog. Just sit. I said, sit down. You better stay down. You don't get a choice to stay down. You better stay down or else stay down. Trying to teach him to get better, to be able to get through his fears. He was barking at dogs. I said, heel, you better heel. There's no speaking in heel. There's no barking. There's no eyeballing. There's no nothing in heel. You better stay in that heel position. And that has to like put some sort of trauma behind him in reality when you're doing something like that to the dog. Not that they're thinking about it every day, but something happens that they go back into that. And then you have this one day that you're just like, I'm not gonna do that anymore. This is something that I can say when it comes down to being more spiritual in your life. You can confess the name Jesus one day and say, I'm never gonna go back and do what I used to do, and I'm done with my old life. I'm on to my new life. Well, that's great for you. But what about everyone else around you that used to do like crazy, vindictive, wild, maddening stuff to? They're not just gonna like, oh, I see the new you. Everything is just great. No, they're not gonna give a crap about you in reality. And in reality, they're gonna almost kind of say in a way of like, prove it. And at the end of the day, that's the hardest part. There's no way that you actually can prove it that you're better. Because everything that you try to do is only going to convince that other thing that you don't trust them and they shouldn't trust you. Because you're going to, most cases, when we try to like prove something, for instance, the best way to be able to say this is such as your spouse has been cheating on you, and the second that they're like, oh, I'll never do that again, I'll never do that again, and now they're like, I'll give you access to the phone, you can put me on GPS lock, I'll wear an ankle bracelet monitor, you could watch and be in all my stuff. That's going to make the other person like be even more suspicious. Like, well, why do I need to keep track of you like that for you to want to be able to be good? Why wouldn't you just be good? So in reality, the more that we try to do to make the situation better, the more that the other thing is going to have less and less trust in us. And that's something that I realized that happened with me and this dog. That I really enjoy watching back some of my videos here and there, just seeing that dog actually come to me for the first time ever. The dude wanted nothing to do with me for straight years. And he's just now finally looking at me and says, hey, buddy, how you doing? I'm like, hi. And in reality, it's been at least a solid year and a half. Just say solid year for sure. This past year that we were, I couldn't beg, I couldn't do anything to get him to like me, because something happened before that he definitely remembers. He knows all of that happened with what me and him went down the day one that I saw this dude, and actually day one of the kennels. We had fun. We just went for a walk and walk and walk. We just walked. We had a good time walking. Things got tricky when we started having to do sit was fine, heel was fine, loose leash walk was fine. It got sticky with this specific dog when it was down. He didn't want it down, and also he didn't want his nails trimmed. That's the first time he actually bit me. I got a scar on my face. If I shave my beard, you'll see it. He bit me in the face the second week I got him because I was trying to cut his nails. He didn't want his nails trimmed and he didn't want to be told down. I just needed to give him some more time in reality, and I would have got there. But I didn't have the time. We had to get stuff done. So we started to get to the point that we started to butt heads instantly there. And then, of course, I had to triple down and quadruple down into that because that's just what we do in dog training. I said to do it, you better do it. You don't get a choice. And he definitely has to remember that. Maybe he's not thinking about it every day, but I'm pretty sure that there's certain words that I can say, such as no, where I can say no today and he's not like bummed out and freaked out before. Man, I think I got a video of it. I might want to show it. But I would say no, and this dog, he would like flinch. He would flinch to the point that I'm like, oh my goodness, because he knows that e-collar pressure or prong collar pressure or leash pressure, something's coming after I said that word. That's the way we teach it, right? You got to have your markers. You got to have all your words in place. No correction, no correction. Yes, reward. Yes, reward. So he knew that. So it's like he's not remembering it in the moment, but he definitely has something in his body that's remembering what's going on. That's not his choice to even, like, he can't choose that. He can't will it away. It's just what it is. It's in there. And the more and more I've been really just thinking about this of watching the dogs is realizing that that's what I believe makes it really, really challenging to come back. Because I watched a video of someone, I forgot who I was watching. I don't know who I was watching, but it was an interesting video of sometimes we can do stuff that we can never come back from. I believe that to be like 100% facts in reality. Let me add more to that. Let me change what I'm going to add with that. There's ways that I know on this planet that we can get through trauma. And it comes down to what I believe is prayer and asking. But if you don't go down that route, there's some things that you're never going to get over what's happened to you in your life before. Some stuff that's happened that even if you do forgive, whatever happened, whoever did it, you truly in your whole heart and your soul and your body forgive. There's still something in your body that's going to respond and going to react when that said same type scenario goes on. And you can't just, you can't will it away. It's there. And the more and more that I just keep watching the dogs, the more I would just notice that they're the same way with that. And the more that I realize that some stuff, it may not come back. Or if it does, buckle up and get ready for a really, really long, long ride of just learning a new way to be able to move and react and be on this planet, to be able to get the things that, I don't want to put it like this, but it's the easiest way for us to understand. If you didn't know what you're doing, you didn't know what you're doing. But traumatizing someone or something and expecting that you can traumatize someone and just it's going to be okay one day. You got to work hard to gain that back, to get that back. You got to, in reality, there's that one part of that I will say is time. Time will make that good, but you can't expect it to happen when you want it to happen. It's going to happen when that other part that you've been traumatizing is deciding to make it happen. And that's the hardest part because it's not on your timeline. And I think that that's where we fail a lot with these dogs because we want it on our timeline. We've been doing something to the dog that the dog just doesn't like. You know, someone's going to say, you know, Mark, you're an idiot. I could do whatever I want to the dog. You know, that's how you view your animals. That's how you like them. That's what you're looking for in them. In most cases, people that think that way, you give up on the dog quick. It's not doing what I need. Get rid of it. I got to get it out of here. As opposed to like working on it to be able to get into a better place. But there's something that I just know that if you've been traumatizing something and we want it because we want it now. I've been doing this for 3 months and it's not going anywhere. I've been doing this for a year and it's not going. I've been doing this for 5 years and it's not going. It's not your timeline. It's not for you to decide when that other being is going to finally just look at you and just say, hi, I appreciate you. I like you. And I think that that's what challenges most people. And that's the concept of where I'm going to say is where I think that a lot of the dogs in the shelters are there. They're nice dogs when the new person gets them. But when it goes back to the old person again, they remember things. They know the smells. They got a good understanding of like something was going on that just that they can't get out of their bones. They can't get it out of the system. It's in them. And we can give it time and try to do a whole new way. And again, one dog might be a week. Another dog, it might be like my Johnny. We're year and a half. This past year, I've been doing a lot different with him where I've been just laying off the dude. I'm like straight up, like doing stuff that dog trainers would be like, you never do that. For me, I would just ask the dog, like if he's outside and I'd say, Johnny, you want to come in? And he would just look at me with this like, what you gonna do about it? And I'm like, you can stay out, man. Just stay outside. I just laid off of him. I was like, dude, you wanna even go outside when he's inside? And he's just laying on the couch looking at me like, what you gonna do about it? And I'm like, dude, if you want to stay on the couch, stay on the couch. So I just let him be. I just let him be. I just let him go. When he was chewing on a stick or chewing on a bone, I would say out, and he would just look at me and say, what you gonna do about that if I don't? And I was like, dude, just chew on the stick. Chew on the stick. Super passive, like extremely passive, because I know I couldn't bribe him. I couldn't like, here's a treat, here's a treat, here's a treat. Because in reality, he got more suspicious with me. And I completely changed everything I did from going where I would say I was traumatizing the dude into doing something that is just straight up, it's all under your control now, buddy. I'm not gonna force nothing from you. Nothing. So when I take him in public, granted, I couldn't just like today, I could let him off leash. We had a really good time today, just doing what he's doing. He meets a dog, he sees people, he's not like going crazy. But day one, I just had to have that leash because I was nervous in reality what was gonna happen. What you gonna do, Johnny? Are you gonna listen to me? Are you gonna do what you want to do? Are you gonna try to fight something? What's gonna? I didn't know, so I had to have him on leash. He was mandatory, mandatory. Today, it's like 80-20. 80% he's off, 20% I'm like, that dog's looking suspicious. Just come on back and be with me real quick. Just hang out. But I would just give him no rules, no structure, no nothing. And this is hard for me, really hard, because I was always used to like everything was done because I said do it, you better do it. Everything was always been that way. And that's why it's weird to me. And I make videos and I talk about my Dalmatian when I'm like, I don't understand why she's just listening to me. Because I'm doing the same with her that I'm doing with Johnny in reality. I'm not enforcing anything. I'm just asking in a way, telling, but asking, but not like I'm going to punish you if you don't comply with what I'm saying. My best case is if I don't want you to choose something, I just go take it and I move it away. I don't like do anything to get hostile. And I noticed that this dog is now finally starting to just like he's starting to like, hey, you're being different. And when I put it on his timeline, now he's willing to, hey, he come check. I mean, he literally will sit on the couch right here next to me. Dude was never even near me in the house. He would be I didn't really like him being like on the opposite side, but dude, go over there. Because that's in reality what most cases made him feel safe. If he's far away that he can't see me, that he knows I'm sitting here, he's way over there, he's in his mind like, I'm safe. The dude can't do nothing to me. I'm good to go. Hey, Oreo, Ophi, I don't want you on that side. So Ophi come. Ophi, y'all stay over here. Air conditioner gets him. Ophi, yeah, stay over here. But dude would be completely far out because he would know like he's safe in that way. I can't do nothing to him. And then he would always be so far because he would know he's got dude's smart. He knows that hi. Sorry. Hi. Stay on this side. I don't want you going over there. Okay? I know you don't understand what I'm saying, but we're just gonna hope that you understand what I'm talking about. I wish these dogs just knew my language, man. Life would be like so much easier if they just knew how, hey, stay on this side. And they're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, yes. Like life would be so simple. But I think that that's a cool challenge about them of how if you can communicate really nice to a dog, man, you can communicate to humans like it's a breeze. It's so easy. But it's just something that I just really noticed that he knows he's safe because that dude for sure, he knows when he had his collars on, he had something on. He knew it. And he knew when he had nothing on, that's why he would always freeze and look at me. What you gonna do about it? And I'm like, man, he definitely knows what used to happen. Because I could probably go, I probably have one. I have his original prong collar somewhere. I got an e-collar somewhere. I could probably put it on him and you would just lay here. He wouldn't even move because he like remembers that is what I want to say. Whereas I don't think that like this is the stuff that man science is going into the wrong direction with how to understand dogs. Worrying about give the dog a treat to sit doesn't make it feel better or not. Like of course the dog's gonna want the food in its face. Like let's do some real stuff here, real things, real projects, real experiments here, not just give the dog a correction. Did he like it? No, he didn't like it. Of course not. It's like that's like childish. Let's move to some adult stuff to see what these animals are actually capable of and what they're actually doing. Because they definitely do have a memory of what happened in the past. They move and function based off that. You know, I'm not this as the guys say it today. It's for educational purposes only. I'm not the professional to say that I'm the scientist that's got this all fact checked. No, I'm just talking. I'm just a human being sitting here talking about my dogs and things that I've noticed that I also see in other dogs and why I believe it's a very interesting phenomena that you can watch someone else with your dog that you're like, my dog is crazy. And you see them with your dog and you're like, that's not my dog because they don't have that history of what's been going on with the different person. And that's where a very interesting dog comes in, where it's like, oh man, I really like this Dalmatian, and I want to get, man, I can't get more dogs, but I want to get more dogs, because when they're not like, when you don't have that toxic background, we got a little bit, but it's been a while now since we basically got out of that. That that when you don't have that toxic background, like pretty much your dog can go to anywhere, to anybody, children, adults, anybody can have your dog, and they're going to pretty much be the same across the board. But when you're having to put a lot of like strict rules and consequences and everything to get your dog to look good, the next person, that dog's going to treat differently. This is new, like say science projects that I'm just working on and really understanding that when the dog is not all done, Oreo, thank you. When the dog is not doing, because like even there, how I am with my Oreo, he's not gonna work the same with somebody else, because me and him had got this level of, I said do it because I said so. And today I freeze because I don't want to like go further into what I used to do. So I just like see what's gonna happen here basically. But he moves because he knows he's about. I would say like my punishment with my dogs is y'all go home. I'm out here. Y'all want to be out here with me. If you don't want to do what be on my game plan, like no moving chickens right now because I'm saying not to, you're going back to the house. You're not going to be out here with me. So that really just, for some reason, just gets into my dog's brains of like, oh, heck no, I'd rather just be out here. I don't want to have to go sit out there, because it's like they're fun to be out here while I'm out here. But since I have that with him, with someone else, he's going to act completely different. So when someone else tries to tell him, like, don't chase a chicken, for instance, he's going to probably have some pushback. He'll probably look at you and say, I'm going to do what I want to do. And or maybe listen, but most cases, probably not, because you don't know that follow through step. That's why I even teach my daughter that. If he's acting a fool to you, you tell him to go home. And he'll listen to you if you tell him to go home. I don't know, he's pretty universal with that because he just has been hearing that for so long. But if you don't know that about him, he's probably gonna act a fool. He's probably gonna act a fool. He's gonna act crazy. But that's something that I've been really trying to test and challenge with these dogs, is realizing that they definitely remember what used to happen, and depending on what we did, they may not come back from. They may have a little thing in them that's just there forever. Then that's why we have to work around stuff to be able to help the dogs get into a place that we just have to understand that it's just there. And that's something that, some people just, in the way I look at it, is don't want to accept that. They want to say that every dog can be this perfect, pristine dog. No, not every dog can. Whereas, yeah, there's going to be some of the genetic behind it, but some of what we have done to that animal and what has been done to the animal before we even got that animal, for instance, that we don't know what happened. I mean, I worked with a dog in the dog school that was terrified of like any. I thought it was just the poop stick, but he was scared of any stick. You would have any kind of staff in your hand. This dog, his name was Mr. Buttons, but he was a little a pity dog. He was just the cutest little thing. He was an awesome dog, but that was the one thing that got him. He was terrified of a stick. I never hit the dog. No one in the school has ever hit the dog with a stick, but he had something in him that you would have stick in your hand, anything, foot or more, and if it was longer, oh my goodness. This dog was terrified. He would pee and poop himself. He was solid with everything except for a stick in your hand. And someone else can have the stick, and he's like, oh, whatever. But if I had a stick in my hand, this dog was terrified. And it took me a long time to work this dog through just like hours and hours of just like showing him the stick. The stick is okay. But something happened to the dog. Don't want to say that he was hit with the stick that made him fearful of the stick. I don't want to go that deep up front, but something happened to that dog that he got scared of a stick. That some sort of staff, and he was especially, it was after he went potty. Not so much of any other times, but when he went potty and you had a stick in your hand, this dude was, it was hard for me in reality because I didn't understand that stuff. And I was like, oh, just get through it, just get past it. But in reality, it had to be on his timeline to when he was going to be able to get past it. So for that, in reality, I was just do what I normally would do with dogs that I see that are scared of stuff. I'm going to slowly introduce things to you day by day by day by day by day. We're just going to slowly do this. I'm not going to try to fast track it and rush it. I'm not going to try to throw treats down your face. We're just going to, today, we're a little bit better. The next day, we're a little bit better. Hopefully in 3 months, we're a whole lot better. And with that dog, I got to keep him for 4 months. And 4 months later, he looked really good with sticks. He didn't care anymore. He was like, oh, there's a stick. Whatever, we're fine. Everything is all right. It took 4 months, though. That wasn't no 2 week, 2 day, 2-hour, 20-minute type deal. 5-minute fixes. Everything is on dog training, 5-minute fix. But there's stuff that happens that this is hard when it comes down to dog training and how a lot of people think and look at dogs. Is it's valid that they're nervous or scared of something. We can't just say that it's not valid. It's valid. And they definitely have a past that they may not remember consciously, like how we do when we're thinking about our past, where we're just like, I remember this and I remember that. But there's that's not the right word to say, but the feelings behind something that's going on, that's there, that's happened. That's just happened. I mean, for some of us in reality, we don't know what happened to us when we were 2 years old, but some of us, you hear a sound and you get like, your body can almost go into freeze mode where you just frozen. You're like, you don't know what's going on. Something that you don't even really remember, but it was there that you remembered it and it's locked in you. And you hear a sound and now here you are. I mean, this is a lot with a lot of guys in the military. You hear bangs and booms and gunshots, and I get a little sketched out myself. Man, I got shot. Dude was riding in the car and shot me with a pistol, shot 9 rounds at me, and 3 hit me. And so every time that I hear shots that are kind of like a little too close, that happened when I was 20, my 20th birthday and all. 20, so that was 18 years ago. And still, like last night, it was like, I don't know, I was up so late last night, but it was like 2 in the morning, and I heard some of the shots just going off, and it doesn't like make me like, oh, I gotta run away and hide, but it's like, I stop, and I'm like, what's going on right now? It's just, it's in me. I can't make that just will that away, make it disappear. It's there. It's there, and and I can't just make it go away. Same with being when I was in, so what was it, 2009? I was in Afghanistan in Fob Shank. You already know the place is messed up if it's called Fob Shank. And every time I hear that zip, because I don't know why these folks was just shooting bombs at us, these mortar bombs at us all the time, even during the day. It was just weird. It was crazy to me. But I would hear that bomb, you would hear it just zip right over your head. I don't know why, but their accuracy was like horrible, thankfully. But they would be shooting these things all the time, and you would hear it go. And when I hear that sound today, I hear anything that's similar to that, I'm always like looking around. It's a reflex that I'm just like looking around like, where's about to land? It's in me. That's 2009, so that's what, I don't even know what is that, 15 years ago. This stuff is like years ago, and it's still in me, and I just still think about it. Like it's instant. I don't care what's going. It could be a movie, it could be anything. Something's going on that I hear it, and I'm just like, bam! It's in us. It's just like it's ingrained in what we are now. That you can't just make it disappear because you want to make it disappear. And that's what I see in these dogs the same way. That there's stuff that's in them that I can't just make it disappear. Can I make it to the point that it's like, for instance, when I hear shots going off, I can still keep going. I don't go into a fight or flight or freeze mode where I'm just done for 15 minutes and I just shut down. No, it's a flash where I'm like, okay. And then like 3 seconds later, okay, I'm back to doing what I'm doing. And that's how I see him. It's not an instant. It's not like everything is just good to go and everything is perfect. I can see where his eyes just go into like this, I don't know what to say it, but just like terror in reality, like this dread. I don't want to say terror, but dread of like, what's going to happen? And I see flash over his eyes, and then he's like, okay, we're fine. It's still there. It's ingrained in him with stuff that just used to happen. And or a lot of people, a lot of dogs, just things genetically happen. Stuff happens to us based on what has happened from what went on with our mothers. That stuff that happened to her can still relate to come to us. So stuff that was going on when you were like in the process of baking, I don't know if that's the right way of saying it, but it just makes it sound better. But in your process of growing in the belly, stuff could have happened to her that is in you that now you still have. It may not be as drastic, but there's still things in there that just scare you, that just make you frightened or even excite you, that get you all happy and go lucky. And things that just like you get addicted to that just you shouldn't be. You're like, why do I do this? And it's just, it's in you. It's driving inside of you with stuff that you never even had issues with, but all of a sudden one day you could wake up with this like this desire of something that's going on in you, because there's things that happen to us that it's in our past, that's in us. It's not even in our memory, and I see that with these animals like crazy recently when I just really take a hard look of just what's going on with the dog. And why isn't a dog just like getting better the way that I want it to get better? And because I have to realize that the dog has to get better when it's desiring that it wants to get better. It may not be ready. And I think that that's the hardest part with a lot of people, that we want it, but it's not our timeline, it's theirs. It's theirs. It's not your timeline to say when I should be able to get into a better place. It's mine. It's mine to make that choice, to make that decision. And once I make that choice, then I'm going to start working upon that. And then I'm going to start seeking help to figure out how to be able to get myself to get better with that. And that's where he's at this moment today. He's looking to me for help. He's like, "Hey man, I'm a little nervous with this. Can you help me?" Whereas before it was like he wanted nothing, absolutely nothing to do with me. He was he wanted nothing to do with me at all. Nothing. He this is a dog here that the changes that I talk about with working with dogs, with punishing them and giving them all these rewards and trying to use obedience to get them to listen to you. This is the dog right here that he's the one that's showing me that this stuff really works. And he's also the one that's showing me that it's on his timeline. I can't force him to like me. He's going to appreciate and care for me when he decides to. I can't get mad because he's not wanting to listen to me instantly. I have to address the situation of what it is that I used to be doing with him and understand that all I can say is sorry. And I can't bribe him. I can't beg him. I can't force him. I can't do anything but just be there as a support on the time that he decides that he wants to be able to work past these issues that he has. And I believe that that's like a learning experience for us as humans that is just absolutely incredible. And that's not something that is just, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not simple. It's something that is, in my opinion, with how I view this world and everything that's going on today, and just a simple walk that we did to the lake today, and just watching him and seeing him when, for the first time ever, watching him get nervous, and he looks to me, he's like, "Where are we going? What are we going to do with this?" As opposed to him just like taking off and just doing what he used to do, man. Bark, growl, and he did give off a pinch of a growl today, but the dog was bark. So dogs don't rarely bark at my dogs, but we're on these trails and the dog is like right here, and my dogs are like right here. They don't bark because I always see the owner's face. They're like, "Oh my goodness," and they don't bark until we get side by side because it's too much for the other dog. If the dog just doesn't know how to get past that, it's just like, we're good, we're good, we're good. But then it's like, "Oh my goodness, we're right here." Then they bark. And it's usually unfortunate. It's a bigger explosion than when it is if they were just barking 10, 15 feet away like they usually do. But this is the first time this dude just stopped and he looked at me. He says, "What are we gonna do here?" And he got right next to my side and he sat there and he did. He let out when that dog got a little loud in our face. He was a pretty good sized dog. And he was bark, 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 bark. And Johnny kind of gave this low, tiny little grumble, but he didn't move. He didn't do anything that he would usually do. That for the only way that I was able to like get this dog to be this way was with some sort of collar system, some sort of punishment. I said, "Sit, you better sit down, you better down." Because I no longer move off the trail and tell him to do anything but just be with me. Hey, stay here. I don't say down, I don't say sit, I don't say nothing anymore. I just like, y'all stay over here. And we get danced through the world really good today. Outside of when there is that dog that's just in his face. It's like literally 2 feet in his face barking. He's got to like, "Hey, dude, leave me alone" type language, which I can accept that. But as far as him just having to match that and do what he used to do, I no longer have to like have him in said control. And it's been time, months, years, not years yet, but months. We'll just keep it at months to be able to convince this dog of what it is that I'm looking for without it having to be anything hostile. And at the same time, the biggest thing is he's now officially coming to me and asking me, hey man, I need help with this. He's coming to me with these cows. Just earlier, he it's the mama, the big tan, the big gray one. I think she's gray in color, but she locks eyes with him. No other dog, but that cow locks eyes with him, and she's just like, "Come on, buddy, come on," because she runs him out. She run him out. She likes to stomp on him, and they just lock eyes, and he's like, "Oh man, what's gonna happen?" And it's the first time that he just looked over at me, and I looked at him, and he came to me, and then he looked at her, and then he let it go, of like, "You got me right. I'm like, yeah, I got you. You don't need to get in the middle of that. I got this for you. You good, Oreo? Hi. You over here. He's on 10 right now. All right, go get your stick. You can go. You can go. You can't chase no chickens though, but you can go get that stick again. you wanna he wanna play. I gotta get his I gotta get that flirt pole out right when I get off this video. Because they always ask me and tell me what is they looking for. They're like, hey man, I got this. I need to do something right now. And I'm like, I got you. I got you. You come ask me and I got you. And then when they realize that I'm listening to them, then they want to listen to what I'm saying. And it doesn't work the other way. But the biggest thing is I've noticed that it's a big challenge of understanding that you're gonna go through a period, depending on what you've been doing with the dog. You know, there's all kinds of people that say, it just depends on the way that you're using the equipment for the dog. If the dog is already sound, the dog is already good, and you're just trying to give some extra language to the dog, you may not traumatize the dog by doing certain things to it. But if your dog is fearful, this is why I'm saying if your dog is extra fearful and extra excited, don't try to punish the dog to do what you want them to do. You want to work them through that in a completely different way without punishing them. That's the part that I believe traumatizes the dogs. And that's the part that I believe is hard to get back from, because now we have to come up with a whole new way. And that whole new way is something that is going to be very, very challenging in reality, because I know we want it, and I know it's like, oh, my dog's not doing this, but this person's dog, just that's the part where we got to just look at our own stuff. I can't look at what someone else has. I got to look at what I have and what I'm dealing with. What I'm dealing with is what I got to deal with and what I need. And that's how I look at it still at the end of this day. What I need, something that I need. I needed to figure out how to be able to do this. I needed this because there's something in my life that has drawn me into understanding how to be able to, that's the perfect word right there, is to understand other things other than just myself. Understand that the other beings out here also, they're their own self, and I can't just tell them what I want them to do. And that's been a hard thing for me because it's not how I've lived my life in reality. Shut up, sit down. Shut up. I know you're crying. Shut up. I was just the parent of the parent. The parent of the parent that would say, crying, shut up. What you crying for? There's nothing to cry for. Just shut up. I don't care what's going on. I don't care that you just got punched in the face. Stop crying. Like literally, that's my language right there. And that's totally wrong. That is like traumatizing for on the other side of that. That person, that kid, that dog, that whatever is going to be traumatized from language and being treated that way. And that's not a proper way to go. And that's why we wonder why we got so many people today that are struggling, because that's how we were raised. And then we continue to keep on doing that. And something in me, I had to like trying to get better on this lands is all that I've been praying and asking for. How do I be a better man on this planet? And I've got huge challenges that came to me. Huge challenges. If I was treating that dog in reality the way that I would my child. Shut up. Sit down. Shut up. Lay down. Shut up. Get over there. Don't speak right now. Be quiet. I'm on the phone. You scared? I don't care. Let's go and do it anyways. Oh, you're excited? I don't care. Sit down. Like that's in reality what most all dog training represents. Oh, you're scared right now? Oh, just be in this heel and don't do nothing. Don't even look. Don't look. You better stay here. I'll shove this cookie in your face and you better stay here. Like that's traumatizing. It's not healthy in any way. And so for me, I've been having to figure out how to be able to work through this and to get past this and find a whole different way. And in reality, the other way about it is able to give me something that I love way more than what I used to do. My dogs listen and respond to me way more than they ever used to. Because even here, Johnny, come here. The dude just like, he's got this like, what's up, man? He's got this excitement to him when I speak to him today. He's like, I'll be right over there, man. I'll do whatever you want. It's a huge difference. Whereas before, I would see, man, I know I got videos of calling that dog. That his head goes down and he's like, he moseys along. He's like, I'll be there. But today he's like, he's got this spunk to him. He's like, what's up? What are we gonna do now? It's incredible. Those minor little things that I look at, but they're huge to me. Minor to maybe most people that see that, but that's a huge stuff to me that I see that I'm just like, this is incredible. This is incredible. In reality, really understanding that the dogs do remember what used to happen. And it's for me to be able to help the dog Johnny, work through that so that we can be able to get into a better place. And it's hard because it's on their time. It's their time. This dog's taken months, minimum an entire year, for him to finally just look at me and say, "What's up, man? How you doing?" And it's taken just in this past 2 to 3 months. He's changing so much around, just everywhere around, that he's just so responsive. He's so much more. The word I want to use here is loving and caring. He's so much more than he ever has been the entire 3.5+ years that I've had this dog. I'm moving on close to 4 years at this moment since I've known this dog. And just this past 3 months is just exponential change. That he's finally like, "Hey, how you doing? How are you?" And it's an incredible thing to be able to witness. Thank you. We good, Shadow? Hey, y'all gonna knock my camera over. Ophi, chill out, girl. I know we gonna run. We gonna run. We let that sun come down, that heat go away, and we gonna y'all really are gonna knock it down. Don't knock my camera down, man. They done. It's gotta. There it goes. It's gotta fix itself here. It'll figure itself out in a moment. You see her? They finally start playing now, which is cool. They having a good time. They were running, man. They were running for like a whole hour last night, just going and doing and having a good old time. They getting it. Everything is just starting to get more comfortable and more relaxed. It's just a great experience to just be around. The more I started to change with what I do with these dogs. I don't know, man. It's a joy. It's a big joy to be able to just actually have fun and not have like, "Ooh, what's gonna happen?" going on. Just being able to hang out.